Hello everyone, welcome back to another Color With Me video. I feel like I say this about a lot of pages, but today will be by far my favorite page that I have done with this coloring book. However, this one took the most time. It's the most time-consuming one, but the result turned out so great, and I loved how it turned out. It turned out super fun. Today we're actually coloring the first page that I have in this book. I have been avoiding this one because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it. I really like the scenes and like the full page um, coloring pages, but this one I was kind of stumped because it was like 4 squares. Again, didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. But we are turning this into a comic. So I'm so excited to share this with you all. I first started this page by penciling where I wanted my comics to go. This is, I got really creative with this page. It's probably the most creative I've gotten with a coloring page. So I didn't really do this in any other pages, but I whited out some of the black lines on this page to give that comic effect. Um, so yeah, I made these, they're not complete squares, so I kind of went off what was already there, but I kind of extended in some ways and broke them up to make them look like the classic comics that you would see. I did a lot of looking at Pinterest and like Googling pictures of classic comics, and I wanted, those like when I think of comics, I think of the pop art, or the red, yellow, blue, bold colors, and thick black lines. So all of that. So I shaped it out how I wanted. This probably was the most tedious part of it. Um, no, I lied. The second most tedious part of it, um, which we'll get to what was the most in a second, but I just really wanted this to be super neat and clean, so going through all the pencil lines and making them super straight and then whiting everything out, it just took a little bit, but whenever I color, I always have my show on in the background and I just get to work. Now for the most tedious part of this page was coloring the background. I did not think that this was going to take the most time, but nonetheless, it did. I think just because like there was so much space that I had to color, and then also I didn't want to color over any of the black lines because I've been using my acrylic paint markers. And while I can go back in with like the for a black fine liner and go over the lines that I've colored up, I really did not want to. So I was being super careful not to. So this took a lot of time, but I did it. So I went in with the colors green, red, yellow, and blue. I thought it was very fitting because each one of these scenes kind of had those colors. The frog scene, frogs are green, that was green. This like strawberry dog drinking boba, the strawberry's red. And then there's like a little rain scene in the bottom right corner. I went with blue for that one. And then the top left, there's like a chick, or like a little duck kind of getting ready for whatever event I might be going to, so I chose yellow for that one. I thought these were just like the most classic comic colors, pop art colors that I've seen. So, or at least when I was looking up pictures, I looked up so many times to make sure I was like doing this right. So those were the colors that I settled on, and I thought it turned out really well. But again, super tedious. It took me so long. My hand was hurting at the end. I did eventually split this page up into 2 different nights. I did not finish it in one night, but that's okay because I really wanted to take my time with this. Overall, this took me probably between 2.5 to 3 hours of coloring and planning and whatnot. Yeah, which is kind of a lot of time for a singular coloring page, in my opinion. I know there are people out there that take that much time or even longer, and I give so much props to them. But I color because I enjoy it, and I like sharing this. with people just in hopes that they are inspired to try something new or learn something new. I still learn every day, constantly. I definitely started out coloring through this book, things I haven't posted, just doing simple coloring with alcohol markers, and then, the next day I would take it up a step and do some shading and whatnot. So I just hope to inspire, and with that being said, I also don't want to not love coloring anymore, so that's why I don't spend hours and hours doing it, and the people that do, they turn out super great, and I would love if I had that amount of time to do that for some of the pages. Maybe one day, maybe when I have some downtime, but um, anyways, getting back into it, kind of went on a tangent there. So also for the background, I took darker and lighter colors. So there's two squares that have a darker shade of the same color, and then two squares that have a lighter shade of these colors. And I went in and did polka dots in the back. If you have ever seen pop art or comics, I don't know if those fall in the same category, if they're the same thing or not, but I guess I'll be referencing pop art here, because I think this kind of fits more into it. But you might see the dots in the background, and I was trying to see if I should go either lighter or darker, and I've seen a combination of both. So that is what I settled on, and I honestly think that was kind of a good idea. I could have done all darker dots for them, but I really liked how the combination of both turned out. So I went in with a darker yellow color, a darker blue color for those two squares, and then I went in with a lighter green color and a lighter red color. I actually kind of just went in with a pink color for that one. So I went in and did dots, and I tried to be neat with this. I didn't really pencil them in or anything. I kind of just eyeballed it, but I just started with one row, and then I went in the spaces in the next row, and then just kind of kept repeating that over and over. So they were lined up pretty neat. Yeah, so that's kind of how I did this polka dot pattern, or dot pattern in the back. And yeah, I think this really made it pop for sure. It definitely gives that pop art vibe. And that was all of the acrylic paint markers done. Whew, that took so long. So I was definitely glad to be done with the background, but I was loving how it turned out. I then went in and reinforced some black lines, outlines of the squares or shapes here. I guess they're not squares, because I did not do that. I waited till I had everything colored with the acrylic paint markers, and I went in with a micron fine liner pen and just went over those lines and reinforced them. I didn't go super thick on this, so yeah, just kind of reinforce those lines. And now it's time for the actual alcohol marker coloring of this. I kept these colors super simple. I didn't do any shadows with the alcohol markers. It's been a minute since I have, since my last two videos were using colored pencils for the shadows, but I did not do alcohol marker shadows for this either, because I will be adding another step to make this even more pop art comic-like. So I used two different brands of alcohol markers. Like I've said in my past videos, I use Smart Art markers, and then I also use the brand Master's Touch alcohol markers. I have a combination of these two, which is what I have on hand, and that's what I use to color these pages. So for the frog, I went in with a nice green and a little light pink for the cheeks or whatnot, I'm not really sure. And then I colored the bag of potato chips with a light red and yellow. And then for this little duck that's getting ready, pampering up, whatever this duck may be doing, not really sure, I went in with a light yellow. This is by the brand Master's Touch alcohol markers. And then I also went in with a light blue, a pink, and a darker yellow / orange for the beak and feet. And I colored the objects kind of surrounding the duck. And I think it turned out very cute. I loved the pink against this yellow. Absolutely loved it. The color combination was just, oh, I think that might be my favorite. Then I went and colored this little dog drinking boba with like a strawberry hat. Kind of a lot going on here, but wanted to keep the colors pretty simple and consistent. So I went in with a red marker, the same one. No, it's not the same one. I thought I used the same one as the bag of potato chips, but I did not. But I used this darker red for the strawberry. And then I used a green for the top of the strawberry. And then I also used a light warm gray for the dog. I love this warm gray color for some of the animals that are in this page. I think I've colored this dog before in another page with the same color, and I really like that color. And then I colored the boba, just a standard, like a milk tea boba color. I absolutely love boba, so I really liked this little detail here in this square. And then the last square, the alcohol markers I used are here. This one had the most colors because not only did it have another little duck, an umbrella, and like the raindrops, then it also had like a little snail friend. So used the most. I try to keep it as few colors as I could, again, because I didn't want there to be a ton of colors, different colors, but yeah, so I used the same light yellow that I did for the other duck, and I used 2 different pinks for the umbrella. I used a light shade 157, and then I used a dark pink for the actual umbrella part. I don't know what you call this part, I guess the part that keeps you dry on the umbrella. And then I colored the raindrops blue. They kind of blended in with the background, but don't you worry, they will pop out later. And then I just used this like putty color for the snail, and then a dark brown for the shell. And then this was the second to last step, and this was kind of where I brought out some of the pop art comic characteristics. I went in again with a micron fine tip pen. I'm not sure what thickness I used. Oh, I think I used a brush pen. I eventually switched the markers that I was using because this one, it is well loved and used, and so it was starting to not working. So I switched it out for another marker later on. But I went in and kind of went in for the shadows and made these thicker black lines. This was kind of a learning process because I wasn't entirely sure how many I should do, how thick I should make them, and also there was like a lot of additional texture that I saw some pop art kind of have, and I wasn't sure how I should incorporate that here. So this was the part where I looked at Pinterest and Google the most for picture inspiration here, but I am obsessed with the black lines on this page. I mean, I was already obsessed with this page before, but adding those black lines just did something to me in this page. I have such a connection with it. Yeah, so I went in, and the shadows I picked aside. I've given this spiel before in some of my other videos on how I do shadows. You basically want to imagine a light hitting the page, and wherever that light hits would be your highlights, and then on the other side would be your shadows. So that's what I went and did here. There's one thing I'm not a huge fan of, and I went and gave texture to the dog, and I wish I would have kept it plain, but it was too late. I started already. It didn't turn out too bad, but I just wish I kept it plain, but that's okay. So I finished all of my black lining, and then you can also see I added just some lines too to kind of, again, I was trying to replicate some of the pop art that I've seen. And then I went in with my white acrylic paint pen again and did my highlights. There wasn't too many here like some of my other pages, but after I added my highlights, I was all complete. Wow, this page took so long, but holy cow, was it just so cool. I just absolutely obsessed with this page. I also did try to add some like dots on the characters themselves, and you can't really see them, so I didn't really mention it. I didn't really like how that turned out either, but you can't really see it in the final thing, so that's okay. But Anyways, here's the final page. I hope you enjoy this page as much as I do because this is just so fun. I don't have any more words on it. It's so fun. The colors are just amazing. This was a really fun page to do, even though it did take a lot of time, but I will say it was super fun to be creative. Thank you so much for watching. If you have gotten this far, please like and subscribe to this channel. I'm super new to YouTube, but I'm absolutely loving posting the videos that I've been creating, and I really hope to be posting more. And yeah, so please like and follow. I also will be doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers. I know that is not that many subscribers, but you know, have to start somewhere. I will be doing a crafting supplies giveaway, so make sure to subscribe for that. And yeah, see you later!